Hi guys, this is sort of a venting video. Wait, let me just get like the lighting. Is that good? I don't know. It's kind of annoying me. Anyway, in this video I just wanted to address something that's probably been following me my entire life. Oh, this what the fuck is on the ceiling? Anyway, which is that pretty much sort of most friend groups, or almost every friend group I've had this issue where people pleasing is like the main driver of the destruction of my friendships and driving me literally insane every time I end up in this situation. And whilst right now I don't necessarily feel in this situation, I just feel scared that it's going to happen again to me, because usually no one confronts you about it, and every time it's always been something where it just sort of happens to you, and it's not like you fall out with anyone, and it's not like you stop talking to people. I have done that in the past with a few people, and it's probably like in like a healthy way, but I've never fallen out and stopped talking to like a group of people or anything, or like felt like a problem. It's more like you get phased out in a sense, or you get sort of put in this position where you feel pressure to be around people. And I don't know if I've just created this mentality in my head and it's something I keep doing to myself, or whether it's something that's actually happening. And it probably is one of the most painful things in the world, and I'm not going to blame everyone for that, because that's unfair. We're all human, and how we act in life doesn't determine, I guess, our intentions or like our true feelings about people. Which is why I wanted to talk about my sort of, I guess, addiction to people pleasing, where usually like I'll sort of fixate over a person, not fixate in a sense, but like someone with like a strong sense of self and a strong sense of presence. I really cling onto that as like someone I really like and respect as a person. Like I can totally respect that. And I'm like, I want to be more like this person, or I want to, I guess, in a sense, not impress, but like be in their good books in a sense. And it's probably just an unhealthy dynamic that I create for myself more than a healthy sort of thing that you just have with friends. Like it's just like I'm putting myself in this position of where I disregard like my thoughts and feelings as a person just to make someone else happy. Like it's weird, and it makes you feel like you have no identity as a person. And sometimes I question myself so much, and I try so desperately to have a sense of self sometimes. But when I'm in a social situation, I just get really stressed, and it's like there's this amnesia where I just forget who I am and sort of bend to people's like way of thinking or needs. Like I'll never argue with anyone. Like I never try to have original thought. Like I always just go with the flow. I always just, I don't offer anything, and I feel like people obviously don't draw to that. And like maybe who I was because when I first meet people or make new friends, I probably come in with a sense of self and identity that people are drawn to, and then all of a sudden, as I get to know people, I have this same pattern where I feel like it just torments me more than anything. And also, another thing, which has been true for everything, is I always end up in the middle of like a conflict. So like, let's say, even in like secondary school, I was in two friendship groups, fucking despised each other, and I felt good in both friendship groups. Like I wanted to be in both of them because I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose anyone. Like I wanted, to be able to be present in both because it just like felt good on paper. And also, like, I guess my sort of mentality of this is, groups of people can misunderstand each other, but it doesn't mean we have to be, choose sides. Like everyone's just a human. Like we are different and blah 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 or whatever. But obviously, like there's some sort of like intrinsic there's like an intrinsic wrongdoing in doing that, because like people are like, whose side are you really on? And I guess in a sense it's selfish, but I hate losing people. Like I hate losing people. Like imagine I chose a side. I'd lose people who I thought I could, like, there's this like potential that you feel like you're losing with people, and I think that really plays on your mind as a concept, but as a reality it's just maybe not true. And then your future with both these people end up being sort of constrained and unhealthy, and like becomes worse, and it's really not a nice place to be in. So that's something I've always struggled with, even as like when I was really young. I've always been very diplomatic, even with my parents, because like I don't know, I feel weird talking about this because everyone's here. Like, I don't know. But they would argue, and I would always be the one like trying to stabilize things, because it felt chaotic. Obviously it felt like dreadful, and I think maybe that's sort of where this comes from. And God, there's probably many more examples. Like so yeah, that was basically like all the way throughout secondary school. That was pretty much my stress, and how different people didn't like each other, and like, I was always trying to get along with people, and then at the end of the day you just sort of almost lose everyone. And but they don't really go away from your life. I mean, that's one thing that I've learned. Because with time things change, and I guess time is maybe a healer, and I have rekindled some of those friendships that I did cherish as well, but it really hurt to like be in such a position at the time. But even more recently, like I knew two people who broke up, and I didn't want to really like lose either of them, like in a way, and I felt terrible. Like going through the middle of that was like I was stressed like every single night. Like I was thinking, am I doing the right thing? Like what, you know, like am I supposed to choose someone's side? And then you learn something else, and then it becomes worse, and then you're like, what the hell? So eventually I did silently stop talking to one of them. I didn't tell the other person. So now they're gone. And it did feel like a weight off my chest, but I still felt bad because I still like run into the other person, and I haven't told them, but I just feel a sense like of guilt in being around them, and I never talked about it or addressed it, and now I just like in a sense feel like I've just lost two people who I thought like when we did things together, I felt really good. Like I felt, like I actually found something that was like I cherished, but that was just gone. And then with other friends recently, I definitely feel like I fall into this people pleasing trap, and I don't know if that's what it is, but I feel so isolated at the moment in my life, and I've never felt like this I haven't felt like this in a while, because everything was going so great for like the past year. Like I was like really happy, like I was really in it, but things happen and then things change, and you just suddenly feel like you just made every wrong move at every wrong turn. But it hurts a lot, and I understand that part of that is my fault. It's how I have always been, and it's something I've never really like addressed. In fact, one person just told me to my face that one friend who I respect even told it to my face, and I don't know why, but every time we hang out now, I just feel increasingly more uncomfortable and like on edge, and I don't know what. Don't know if like I just feel like I should say something about it, or like then you feel stupid because you're like, what if I'm just making this up in my head and now I don't know and I'm just keeping it to myself? So why don't I just make a YouTube video about it? But I guess it shouldn't worry me too much, because I'm literally leaving to go to America in a month, and like I'm literally gonna have no one out there, and I'm gonna be I'm obviously excited about that as well, but now like it's going with worry, because I just I want to meet new people, obviously, and like have new experiences, and like make friends that I cherish for life and things like that. But then you get all these worries about, is everything gonna go great? Like, am I capable? Am I like, I don't know, like it's just weird. Oh my god. But it's like people pleasing is like an addiction, and it's a cruel one as well. It's when you literally cannot function as yourself in front of other people because you're too busy thinking about their approval, and you're too busy thinking about their needs, and you're too busy thinking about everything else except your goddamn fucking self. Because I don't know why it happens, and I like, and then you create this sort of version of yourself where you feel terrible because, well, it's not that it's not true, but it's like, it just feels very refined and like not healthy. Like, it doesn't feel healthy to sort of restrict myself from like my true thoughts and feelings. And then when you're in the actual situation, they get so muddled in your head that you don't even know what your true thoughts and feelings are. And when you try to express them, you just sound stupid because you can't mentally gather them, and you can't mentally get your fucking shit together. Like, I don't know where it comes from. It's like fucking amnesia. It's like a fucking amnesia, I'm telling you. Anyway, that's... just makes you feel so bad as a person, like, and then you just feel like a terrible person because you feel like you've done everything wrong. Ugh. But it's, maybe that's just a part of life that you have to learn somehow. And I always want to be myself. I want to be crazy, and I want to go out and just do what I want to do. And I want to have people to share that experience with, and I want to just enjoy life. And I don't know why everything makes it just so bloody complicated sometimes. Like, another thing is, now that when I meet new people, like, obviously it's great when I introduce myself to people, and this has happened so many times in my life, and then you give it like a good few hours and you just feel already isolated from them, like why am I here? And then some people can like meet new people and go on for like a good 3 weeks, and I'm not saying that hasn't happened in my life, I'm just saying, like, it's this mentality that I have in myself where sometimes now when I meet new people, I tend to think I'm incapable. So I draw more towards, just letting them be. And you end up in this sort of mental trap where you feel like you're sort of annoying them if you're going to try more, or like try to like spark a new friendship with someone. And that's another thing that's happened to me, and I don't know how to work that one out. Then again, it's not always like that. Like one friend I made last year, it was very unexpected how we got on really well, because it's I find it really hard to have like this initial spark with someone, and then we just keep going and going. But I did have that with someone, but I also felt like at the same time there was this sort of dynamic that felt really one-sided, and not so much on my side, but it felt like there was definitely a person dominating sort of everything, because I fall into this like same pattern of not being an individual person. I'm not saying, I mean, it's not all the time, but it's those moments when that happens, especially nearing the end of our friendship, because we stopped talking, and it did feel bad because you think of all the good times that you had and that you actually really enjoyed, and then you just feel lost. Like, like what happened, like what the hell. But goodness me, who the fuck am I? I don't know whether to end this, but it did feel good to vent. I do feel weird probably posting this on YouTube. I don't really like talking about my personal affairs, but it's probably a good thing to talk about them. I don't even know if I should post this, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But going forward, I think I should just remember to be open, remind myself that a lot of these preconceived thoughts that I have about my capabilities of making friends and keeping friends are just thoughts, and that doesn't define me, and it doesn't define my actions. So yes, I need to I need to remind myself who I am when I make friends. I need to remind myself, like, and it's like, I remember because they would ask me like, what's your favorite movie, like what do you like, and I couldn't answer for the life of me. Like, I had this block, or like, what shows did you watch? I mean, like, literally today, like, I watched Frayed, and it was like very interesting, but I feel like if I was in like some social situation, I just forget that ever happened. Like, I'd be like, what, you know, what if they thought it was a bit outrageous, like blah blah blah, or they weren't into this and blah blah blah. And those are probably the thoughts that come into my head. Or like, I was trying to like assess the boundaries of a friendship group. Like, I had one university friendship group where I felt, I don't know, like, I felt very refined around them, and like, listen, I love them as people, but it's just, it's like I had this like intrinsic, like, not craziness inside of me, but like so much more inside of me, and I just felt like very much like a narrow stick of like a tree that was like the part of me that I was expressing. And because of that, I felt like I was more just like a wallflower of a person than an identity. And maybe it wasn't true for the whole time, but there were definitely times where I felt like that. I don't know, it's just weird. I maybe in some senses it's fine, but some senses maybe it's not. I also do have trouble like with working. Like, I always feel hated by my employees, like my colleagues. Like, everyone just hates me for some reason. Like, that's just the vibe I get every time I go to work. I don't have a job, but thank God. I had this like mentally crushing feeling where no one actually likes you. Maybe everyone just does that, I don't know.